Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I have a story for you mainly from my end, but I hope you guys can relate to it. Today I'd like to talk about the feeling of looking back on old friendships and what it's like to revisit places where you and your friends used to spend time together. These locations were once full of conversation, laughter, and shared experiences, but over time they may have become quite abandoned or simply forgotten. Returning to these places can bring a unique sense of nostalgia. They're no longer just your physical locations, but they become reminders of a different chapter of my life. Known only to the people who once gathered there, seeing them as they are now, slowly fading with time, can evoke a bittersweet mix of appreciation for the memories they hold and an awareness that those moments can never be relived in quite the same way. I like to explore why revisiting these places can have such a powerful emotional impact and how the spaces we once shared with friends continue to shape our memories long after we've left them behind. Me and my previous friends that I'm not hanging out with used to go to this beautiful spot where we called it a bunker. And funnily enough, it has a really good view of the sea and the landscape here where we live. Coming back to the bunker after so many years felt strange to me. Why, you ask? The place itself hadn't really changed much, but I had. Standing there, I could almost imagine everyone sitting in their usual spots talking for hours about random things that felt so important back then. It's funny how a place can remember a version of yourself that no longer exists. It's funny. I remember standing there for a couple of minutes without saying anything. Then I hear the sound of the waves of the air coming towards me in exactly the same way as they did years ago. The funny thing was, I kept expecting someone to walk around the corner even though I knew nobody was coming. We would talk about how excited we were to work in the future, to which I mentioned in the previous video of how that went horribly for me. Talked about even relationships and how to better ourselves as men to do better. I even went and did graffiti as a hobby there, doing my own sketches with my own notebooks while I was sitting in this clear view. Subsequently, after some months or even a year, about around that time, I kind of gave up on that hobby. Heck, we even stayed there with my friends till like midnight or 1 in the morning there to just simply enjoy the silent evenings with the crystal clear winter evenings. At the time when I was around 16 to 19, that was the times where I would say that I was mostly extroverted type of a person. I used to go out nearly every day and would feel a weird sense of anxiety or awkwardness if I stayed at home for such even a day. I even remember that I was one of the few ones that knew of that place and began sharing the locations to it to a lot of people, to the bunker, because it meant a lot to me. Because I also thought, why hide such a gorgeous location? I and others began bringing a lot of people there, and it was so fun because it was so quiet there and peaceful and filled with people that enjoyed hanging out with and had deep conversations with. Over the span of years, things began to change and shift. Some move out to different countries, some literally stay but become introverted, and some even just leave you because they have important things to take care of. Maybe you, the viewer, had to leave some friends behind because they were holding you back from who you were striving to become. You know, your dream to become successful or elsewhere. A lot of things change over even a year, and you never know where you might end up. For example, from my end, I know some friends of mine are aware that I'm doing these types of videos. So if you know me in real life, hi, I don't hate you. I just had to move on for other reasons, but I don't hate you by all means. And don't worry, I loved all the memories we had, so I hope that they stay with you forever and remember me as a good friend like how I always think about you guys. Anyways, aside from the special message I just gave to them, yes, I had to leave some people behind for other reasons, I won't mention here because it's private, but as long as you do it in a way without making it unclear, it's okay. A part of growing up is realizing that the older you get, the wiser you get. The older you get, you also become more self-aware of what is going on around you. Of course, that can't be said for everyone, but that implies to me the most. I am not the smartest, the strongest, the fittest, or anything like that in the room, but I'm aware of a lot of things happening around me. And that is why you, the viewer, I always bring up the idea of you giving me feedback in the comments in case I say something horrible. But I got a more important question to ask yourself. Yes, you, the viewer. When was the last time you asked yourself, do I really hate the people that left me or that I left? And do I just think about what bad they did to me only and not the good memories we had? Because why would you ask yourself that, you may wonder? Because me personally, I never think of anyone in a negative light. I'm the type to never judge anyone for what bad they did, but overall everything what they bring. Some of my old friends, they were really are there for me and cared about me. And I never hated it. But for me to progress in life, I had to drop them. Let me think. I remember this friend of mine that spent so much in game and had nothing better to do in their life. But that particular guy was just so down to earth to understand me. You know, he was a good guy, I admit it. But my goals and his were not the same. I always loved him for who he is. Smart and actually honest, down to earth person. But one thing I didn't like is that I hated them for some things, but always remembered that it's impossible to change the person in the way they are, so it's better to just drop them with no hate and just leave them in the past. So yes, ultimately I admit I spent a lot of money too, but I stopped because I realized that it is not a good thing to spend money on games, and it's in the best interest to invest it into something better, like hobbies or food per se. Something the bare minimum would be like food, yeah. So if you're watching this and you have drifted apart from people you once considered close, maybe don't remember them only for how things ended. Try to remember the moments that made you laugh until your stomach hurt. The late night conversations, the spontaneous adventures, or the times they were there for you when nobody else was. Those moments were real, and even if they are now in the past. I don't think nostalgia exists mainly to make us sad. I think it's there to remind us that we were lucky enough to experience something worth missing. As for me, I don't know. Maybe that's why I wanted to come back here at the bunker. Not because I wanted to relive the past, but because I wanted to appreciate it one last time. This place will probably continue to fade. Nature will slowly reclaim it, and eventually very few people will remember it, what it was once to me. Oh, and don't forget that people have their life ahead of them too, and they have things to take care of that might end up making them forget about you too. Remember, it's all about you just letting go and fully knowing not to expect them to come back to you. Or if you feel like contacting them, why not? You know, what else do you have to lose if you want to like contact them per se? You would lose nothing. So with that said in mind, if you ever feel alone versus actually being physically alone, contact someone. It always ends up helping you at the end of the day. Remember that you're not alone in this earth we all live on, and trust me, even as if though it feels like it, you're not. Try socialize more, because most people in the current year we live in the big 2026, yeah, a lot of the people generally are prone to care about what others feel towards them, rather than what they think about you. And if you are scared to make new friends, because of the friends in the past leaving you or you leaving them. You know, I go by this quote of this game, which is old but gold in my eyes, and it is the Minecraft Story Mode game that was released like I think way back 2016. And I like the introduction of that game because it literally said nothing built can last forever. So these such powerful words can hit really home when you think about it. With that said, I thank you as always for taking your time to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it, seriously. And also please feel free to contact me on the comments. So if you subscribe, I won't force you, of course. That's never my motto. I just want you guys to feel like you relate to me when you watch my videos. With all seriousness, any feedback in my videos or suggestions on what I should do next, I will consider your ideas as a future video. Thanks for watching and have a happy day. Goodbye.